In 1987, a woman named Carol Hensley bought a Frigidaire from a hardware store in Akron, Ohio. It was white, boxy, and completely unremarkable. It had one dial, one light bulb, and a freezer on top. Today, that refrigerator is still running in her garage, keeping her husband's beer cold at exactly 38 degrees. It has never been serviced. It has never been diagnosed. It has simply never stopped working. Now walk into any Best Buy this weekend. You will find a wall of stainless steel machines that look like something designed by NASA. Glass doors, touch screens, cameras inside that let you check your groceries from your phone. One of them will cost you $3,500. The salesman will tell you it is the pinnacle of refrigeration technology. What he will not tell you is that there is a 40% chance it will be dead before your next car payment is due. And when it dies, the repair technician will not fix it. He will hand you a quote that makes buying a new one feel like the rational decision. You will stand in that same Best Buy 2 years later, doing it all over again. This is not bad luck. This is not a manufacturing defect. This is the architecture of the modern appliance industry, and it was built this way on purpose. We went looking for the exceptions. We talked to independent repair technicians with decades of invoices. We dug through warranty data, class action filings, and the kind of engineering forms where the people who actually build these machines talk honestly when they think no one is listening. What we found was a short list. 4 refrigerators that the industry has not yet managed to ruin. Before we give you that list, you need to understand why everything else on that showroom floor is already a dead machine walking. The first thing that kills a modern refrigerator is hiding behind the back wall, humming quietly until it does not. For decades, refrigerators ran on a rotary compressor. It was a spinning motor sitting in a bath of oil, constantly lubricated, virtually indestructible. LG decided to reinvent it. They introduced the linear compressor, a piston that moves back and forth in a straight line instead of spinning. It uses less electricity, it runs quieter, and it destroys itself from the inside out. Because it does not spin, it cannot splash oil through the chamber. It relies on a microscopic system of springs and valves to prevent metal from grinding against metal. Those springs fatigue. Those valves fail. When they do, the compressor sends metal shavings directly into the sealed cooling lines of your refrigerator. There is no surgical repair for this. The entire circulatory system of the machine is contaminated. It is a heart attack with shrapnel. LG has faced multiple class action lawsuits over this failure. The machines still ship with the same compressor. The second killer is the indoor ice maker, and it is a violation of basic physics dressed up as a convenience feature. Freezing water requires sustained temperatures below 32 degrees. The refrigerator compartment runs at 38. Engineers are pumping frozen air through thin plastic tubes into a poorly insulated cavity to manufacture ice inside a box specifically designed not to freeze. The seals crack. Warm air infiltrates. The ice maker frosts over into a solid block, leaks water across your hardwood floor, and burns out the evaporator fan motor. A $600 repair. Sometimes more. The third killer is the control board baked into the back panel directly above the compressor heat vent. Solder joints crack under thermal cycling. Replacement boards cost $400 and are discontinued within 5 years of purchase. So what does a refrigerator look like when it is actually engineered to survive all 3 of these failures? There are exactly 4 engineering signatures that separate a 30-year machine from a 5-year appliance. The first signature is the compressor. A refrigerator built to last will use either a traditional rotary compressor or a proven inverter. Compressor, and in both cases, it will run in a bath of oil. That oil is not a detail. That oil is the entire story. It is the difference between a machine that lubricates itself every second it runs and a machine that is slowly grinding itself to dust behind your kitchen wall. If the model you are looking at advertises a linear compressor as a selling point. Put it back. That is not innovation. That is a countdown timer. The second signature is where the controls live and what they are made of. A durable refrigerator keeps its controls simple and keeps them cool. A mechanical dial or a basic digital panel mounted away from heat sources is a good sign. A giant touchscreen mounted on the front door with a Wi-Fi password and a camera inside is a death certificate with a fingerprint smudge on it. Every layer of technology added to a refrigerator is a new way for that refrigerator to strand you with a warm box full of spoiled food and a repair quote that makes no financial sense. The third signature is ice maker placement. If the ice maker lives in the freezer compartment where the temperature is actually below freezing, that is an honest machine. If it lives in the refrigerator door, walk away. Physics does not negotiate. The fourth signature is serviceability. Open the back panel in your mind. Ask yourself if a repair technician could reach the compressor, replace the fan motor, or swap the thermostat without ordering a discontinued part from a warehouse in another country. If the answer is no, the manufacturer already knows how this ends. Only 4 refrigerators on the market today meet all 4 of these criteria. Let's go through them one by one. The first refrigerator on this list is unglamorous on purpose. The Whirlpool WRT311 FZDW is a top freezer model that has not changed meaningfully in 30 years, and that is exactly the point. It runs on a proven rotary compressor with a 10-year warranty on the sealed system. There is no touchscreen. There is no ice maker in the door. There is no Wi-Fi. The controls are a dial and a lever. Independent repair technicians rank it among the most serviceable machines on the market because every major component is accessible, affordable, and still being manufactured. A replacement compressor costs $150. A fan motor costs $40. The technicians we spoke to described it the same way. Again and again. Boring, they said. Runs forever. At $700 retail, if you run the cost math against 2 replacement cycles on a $2,500 French door Samsung over 10 years, the Whirlpool wins by $4,000. It just does not look good doing it. The second refrigerator is the GEGTS 22KGNRBB, another top freezer unit built on the same philosophy of deliberate simplicity. GE's basic top freezer line has maintained consistent repair records for over 2 decades. The compressor sits in an oil bath. The controls are mechanical. The freezer is on top, where the cold air naturally wants to go. Because warm air rises and cold air falls in GE's, engineers apparently still remember that. Repairmen order parts for these machines from domestic suppliers and receive them in 2 days. That detail matters more than it sounds. A refrigerator whose parts are discontinued is not a refrigerator. It is a very expensive room temperature box. Both machines are available at every major retailer right now. Both will outlast 3 generations of smart appliances sitting next to them on the showroom floor. The third refrigerator on this list, however, is the one the industry would prefer you never heard of. The third refrigerator is not heavily marketed in the United States, and that is not a coincidence. Miele, the German manufacturer, builds its refrigerators to a certification standard called the 20-year test. Every machine that leaves their factory is stress-tested to simulate 2 decades of daily operation before it is allowed to ship. This is not a marketing claim. It is an engineering requirement embedded in their production process. Because European consumer protection standards have historically punished manufacturers for building disposable appliances in ways that American regulations simply do not. The compressor is a proven inverter unit running in full lubrication. The controls are minimal and mounted away from heat. There is no indoor ice maker because Miele engineers apparently read the same thermodynamics textbook the rest of the industry chose to ignore. A base model runs between $2,000 and $2,500. Repair technicians who service them describe the experience the same way. Everything is where it should be, they say. Everything is reachable. The machines are designed to be fixed. The fourth refrigerator requires a different kind of conversation because the price will make you flinch before you hear the math. Sub-Zero has been building refrigerators in Madison, Wisconsin since 1945. Their defining engineering choice is the dual compressor system, one dedicated entirely to the refrigerator compartment and one dedicated entirely to the freezer. They never share air. They never share humidity. The result is a machine with separate sealed systems that can be individually serviced, individually replaced, and individually maintained for as long as the cabinet stands. A Sub-Zero unit costs between $4,000 and $9,000. It also carries a full parts and labor warranty and a documented service life that routinely exceeds 30 years. Run that against 6 replacement cycles on a $1,500 French door refrigerator over the same period, and the Sub-Zero is not the expensive option. It is the only option that makes financial sense. Knowing the list, though, is only half the battle. The other half is knowing exactly what to do with it when you walk through that showroom door. When you walk into that showroom, you are walking into a room engineered to make you feel like simplicity is a punishment. The stainless steel catches the light. The touch screens glow. A salesman will materialize and use the word smart 14 times in 4 minutes. Here's what you do. You walk past all of it. You find the top freezer models pushed to the back corner of the floor, the ones without screens, without cameras, without an app that sends you a notification when you leave the door open. You look for a compressor warranty of at least 10 years on the sealed system. You ask one question. Can your technician get parts for this machine in 5 years? If the salesman hesitates, you have your answer. If you already own a dying French door refrigerator, do not panic yet. If the ice maker is failing but the compressor is healthy, disconnect the ice maker entirely. It is not worth saving, and it is actively destroying the fan motor behind it. If the control board has failed once, replace it, but understand that it will fail again. You are buying time, not a solution. If the compressor has sent metal shavings into the lines, stop. The machine is gone. Cut your losses before the water damage from the failing. Ice maker takes your floor with it. Carol Hensley's Frigidaire is still running in Akron, Ohio. It does not have a camera. It does not know what the weather is. It keeps things cold and it does not stop. That is the entire job description. The industry spent 50 years making that job description more complicated so they could charge you more money. More often. Forever. They built a system where your refrigerator is a subscription you never agreed to, a recurring fee disguised as a kitchen appliance. Every 5 years they collect. Every 5 years you comply. The 4 machines on this list exist outside that system entirely. They were built in an era when the goal was to make something that worked, not something that needed replacing. The 4 machines on this list are the opt-out. Buy one. Keep it forever. Stop feeding the cycle.